Hey guys, welcome to the NFL Week 15. I'm going to do the video today on a Thursday. Get these picks out quicker. Last week was a 1-2 week. We had Dallas. They covered with ease. We had Kansas City against Buffalo. That game we knew was going to come down to the wire. They came up a bit short there. And then we had Carolina. And unfortunately, they lost to the Saints. That game was the one I watched from pretty much start to finish. Very frustrating game if you were a Panther backer in that game, because the game was a lot closer than the score indicated. I mean, the Panthers, 200 yards, over 200 yards of rushing, 1 for 7 on fourth downs. I turned it off when they were 0 for 5. A handful of those fourth downs were 4th and 1, and they didn't run the ball. They were running the ball all day, and on 4th and 1, they were throwing 30, 35 yards downfield. Just very questionable play calling. Coaching for that game lost it for Carolina, unfortunately, because the Saints really had no business winning that game. That game was 14-3 for a while. Carolina always had that backdoor. I mean, they were 6-point dogs, right? And so they were right there to cover, and then they just couldn't capitalize on their chances. They had a block punt return for a touchdown. They had a missed field goal. They had 1st and goal from the 1, and they couldn't score. So it was a frustrating game. I think Carolina was the right side. New Orleans is, I think, as Dennis Green once said, we are who they thought, they are who we thought they were, and they definitely let them off the hook. So the Saints, geez, man, whatever. But overall, like, close. 1-2, could have went 3-0 if Tony didn't go off sides there. Don't tell Patrick Mahomes that, though. He's still fuming about the obvious offsides, like the refs haven't given him some bailouts over the years, right? Patricia Mahomes just very upset. Let's not talk about the Bradbury PI penalty in the Super Bowl last year, right? Jeez, God. Mahomes, what a little bitch. So anyway, we're 32-22 in this season, ready to go for Week 15. There's Saturday games, which I didn't even know until I looked at the schedule. I'm like, damn, okay, we got 3 Saturday games, and I don't think I'm on any of them, but some interesting matchups nonetheless. Minnesota, Cincinnati. That game, I'll tell you where sharp money came in on Minnesota, plus 3.5, and Minnesota money line. When it went down to 3, sharps then took Cincinnati at -3. So it's a tough one. I lean towards Minnesota. I think you're going to get over a field goal. I lean towards Minnesota in that game, but it's a tough game. I would not be surprised at all if Cincinnati wins the game. They're looking good with the backup right now. They're rolling. Minnesota, they're bench Dobbs. He's, who we thought he was. And so he's on the bench now. I don't even know who their quarterback is. Mullins, I think. So tough game. Probably stay away. They won an ugly 3-0 game last week. But, my lean is take the points of Minnesota. Thursday night, we got a game tonight. Another ugly game. Staley is still the coach. Brandon Staley somehow keeps his job. Unbelievable. I mean, his job security is, higher than our prime ministers here in Canada. Like, he can do no wrong. He just will not leave. He probably watches Wolf of Wall Street every week after every loss and says, I'm not leaving. Like that. He's Leo. He is Leo. Unbelievable. I don't know. The Raiders, I don't know how you pick a side in this game. We got the backup quarterback for the Chargers. The Raiders, I don't know if you can trust them. They got a backup quarterback in. I'm looking at the total in this game. I like the over 33.5, 34. I think the Raiders got shut out last week, losing 3-0. I think they rebound, get some points. They're going to get some points. I mean, 20-17, we're going over. So backup quarterback for the Chargers. I think that in his first game, he can put up some yards. There's no Keenan Allen, but I still think the Chargers will pass a lot in this game. And the Raiders secondary is questionable. I like the over in that game. Pittsburgh and Indianapolis, pretty much a pick 'em. If I'm playing, I'm taking Pittsburgh. Indianapolis, I think the wrong team's favored here. Indy's okay. I can't really figure them out. They look good one week. They look okay one week. They look bad another week. They're just mediocre. Pittsburgh, I think, although they obviously don't have a quarterback, this is a team that still continues to fight, play close games. There'll probably be just as many Steeler fans in Indianapolis as they are Colts fans. Give me the Steelers. Denver, Detroit, this is a Saturday night game. The line's laying, about 5.5 points. I think I take Detroit here. I think they get back on track. It should be a close game. It's a huge game for Denver. But I think Detroit, back home, back in the Dome, this is the one they really want to have and start to wrap up this division. I think Detroit gets it right. Primetime game, lay it with the Lions. Atlanta, Carolina, -2.5 or Atlanta on the road. God, take Atlanta. I mean, Carolina, they're a mess. Coaching is terrible. Atlanta, I think, gets it done on the road. It's a tough game, division game, but I think the Falcons get it done. Chicago and Cleveland. Cleveland -2.5. I like Cleveland straight up. I mean, their number one defense, I think, will give Fields all kinds of issues. And I like the quotes coming out of Cleveland. Myles Garrett and the team are buying in. They're believing in Joe Flacco. He's a veteran guy. He's not a great quarterback, but he's doing what he has to do. When you give a veteran quarterback a really good defense, a really good offensive line, they can be successful. I like what I see coming out of Cleveland. I don't know if they're going to be a serious contender going forward, but certainly they can beat the Chicago Bears this week by a field goal. Houston and Tennessee. Tennessee -1.5 at home. Big win for the Titans on the road last week or Monday night. I think the Titans get this done. They're a good team at home. Houston, I'm not sure the health of Stroud, if he's going to play or not. Big divisional game, but I think Tennessee gets it done. I would take the Titans in that game. Other games here. Kansas City, New England. New England at home, 9-point dogs. If I'm playing, I am taking the points of New England plus the 9. This one's going to be, I think, a lower scoring game. The Chiefs don't score a lot this year. They average 21, 22 points a game. New England, although they can score, their defense continues to play well. I think the Patriots can at least keep this one somewhat close. I'm not going to be playing this game by any means because New England or Kansas City can win this game 23-10, something like that. But if I'm taking this game, I just take the points, take New England. Kansas City's offense is kind of a mess right now. And just their team right now is just kind of, I don't like what I saw to Kansas City last week. So give me the Patriots. Miami and the Jets, 9-point favorites for Miami. They're at home this game. If I'm playing, I've been saying this all year of Miami, I'm laying. Now, last week they were a big favorite of 13.5, and they lost outright to Tennessee. I think they get back on track here. The Jets have a good defense, obviously, but I think the Dolphins, they've been beating up on bad teams all year. And the Jets, I mean, the Jets are. We know who the Jets are. They have a good defense, but their offense just is not great. I think Miami, if they're gonna win this game, they're gonna win by margin. Tampa and Green Bay. If there's a 3 out there, -3, I would take the Packers at -3. Otherwise, at 3.5, I just stay away from the game. San Francisco, Arizona. Arizona's at home, 13.5-point dog. I would take Arizona plus the points. San Francisco last week was also a double-digit favorite against Seattle. The game was a bit closer. I mean, they covered the new number when the backup was announced. I'm not sure if this is Seattle. I wasn't sure if Geno Smith was playing last week, and then when he was out, the number went up. And so depending on where, it was 10.5 originally, and San Francisco covered. Then it was 13.5, and they didn't cover. This is 13.5 against Arizona, who's at home, who I think can stay within this number. San Francisco's kind of due for a little bit. I mean, they're going to win this game, I believe. I would think they would win this game. I think San Francisco is due for a little bit of a slower game here on the road. Take Arizona plus the points. Seattle. Now, getting to the Seattle game. They're a 4-point dog at home to Philadelphia. Tough game. You would think Philadelphia has a get-right spot soon. They lost 2 in a row, and they looked bad in those losses. But they came off a really tough scheduling stretch there. The Eagles did. But going into Seattle, I think it's tough. It's a tough environment. I would take the Eagles. I don't like laying points on the road typically, but I would just take the Eagles in this game. I just think Seattle's done. Honestly, I think of all of the 6 and 7 teams right now in the NFC, the Seattle is the least likely to get into the playoffs. I think the Eagles get it done there. Washington and the Rams. Rams laying 6.5. I know sharp money's coming in on Washington. Like, what did Washington do last week? Did they play? Are they off a bye? I don't even know, who's even following the Washington no-names? I don't know. The Rams, I do know, need to win. And the Rams looked really good last week against Baltimore. I don't like laying 6.5 with the Rams, but that's the only way I can play it. I think the Rams can put up points. Washington doesn't have a good defense, and the Rams are at home. They play pretty well there against bad teams. And then Dallas and Buffalo, maybe in the game of the week. Keeping it simple. I'm taking Buffalo. -1.5, -2, -2.5, whatever number you get under a field goal. I'm taking Buffalo. Buffalo right now is a little bit back into the driver's seat. They have a lot of work to do, but if they can continue to win these games, chip away at it, they're going to find themselves in the playoffs. Dallas that plays very well at home. against bad teams. They played very well last week against Philadelphia in a good, in a very good spot, and that's why. And the fact that they lost against Philly the first game was the reason why I really like Dallas last week. But they struggle a bit more on the road, going into a cold environment against a very hungry, desperate team who's still a top 5 offense. Buffalo's a top 5 offense. I think the Bills get it done. They finally beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead. I think this is the Bills going to keep this rolling. Should be a great game. I wouldn't be surprised if Dallas won, obviously, but I like the Bills. Like, subscribe, comment, guys. Link will be in the description for the Patreon. Join $10 a month. You can cancel anytime. We're having a good season. My official plays will be there. Good luck, week 15.